Democratic congressman from Pennsylvania, Brendan Boyle. He's a member of the Congressional Gun Violence Prevention Task Force. Congressman, you represent part of Philadelphia. I'm curious what it was like to wake up Sunday morning to see news of a mass shooting like this in a city. As Gabe pointed out, gun violence has been problematic in Philly for a long time. It's been bad this summer.
Yeah, it was really a sick feeling. Woke up a little before 7 on Sunday morning and saw that overnight, I think at some point 1:32 in the morning, was this mass shooting. And here now, after all these years of quoting Sandy Hook and Parkland and Orlando and Las Vegas, now we can add Philadelphia to the list. Just to be clear, though, the situation, aside from Saturday night, the situation that we're facing in Philadelphia is probably less the issue of mass shootings, almost all of which involve an AR-15, and more the sort of day in, day out violence that we see because of illegal handguns that are on the streets of Philadelphia. And it's obviously any shooting is a tragedy, but what compounds that is, as someone who not just represents Philadelphia, but is born and raised and loves the city, for a good 25 years, we had a dramatic drop in violence, including gun violence, from the early 90s right around until about 2016, 2017. And then something happened. It's happened in Philadelphia. It's happened in other cities as well. And that 25-year consecutive record of progress dramatically turned around to the point now where I'm sad to say we had more murders in Philadelphia last year than any previous year on record.
The House this week is going to vote on gun safety legislation. I know there's been an internal debate about how to do this, whether to do one big vote with all of these elements that a lot of your colleagues understand Republicans will not support at all, or to try to break this up and put people on the record on each individual piece, be it raising the age to buy an assault-style weapon or putting in place red flag laws, you name it. Given the realities of what you're going to face in the Senate for any of these, I wonder where you stand on the legislative strategy here of trying to highlight each of these individual issues or not.
Yeah, so first, I personally support and will vote for any and all of these measures. So that, just to be clear where I stand on this. Now, in terms of what our tactics are, I'm by any means necessary. If breaking these up into individual votes, as some of my colleagues and the Frontliner group want to do, if that will end up getting us more yes votes, I'm fine with that. If we'll get more yes votes as one big package, then I'm fine with that too. I'm completely agnostic in terms of the means. Just whatever gets us the biggest yes vote possible, I'm in favor of.
Well, because ultimately, if you want to get something done, right, it's sort of about sending a signal to the Senate. I mean, you're a Republican senator in Pennsylvania. Pat Toomey's been somebody who's been involved in these talks for a long time. I wonder what you make of the Murphy strategy here as the main negotiator for Democrats on this, that, you know, maybe you're not going to get everything. He's been much more public, I think, this time around than in previous iterations of this, saying, I'm willing to take less, but we have to do something. Does that fly for you if it gets even a small portion of kind of the wish list on this issue across the finish line?
Well, first, I give my friend Chris a lot of credit. I know he's been dogged about this over literally the last 10 years. And let's face it, after 10 years, we haven't been able to get, those of us who firmly believe in common sense gun legislation, we haven't been able to get really any of the things that we want. This time has to be different. So if it means that we have to settle for less than what I would like, for example, I would like to see an assault weapons ban reinstated, the 10 years that it existed from 94 to 04, compare that to the last 20 years, the stats speak for themselves. That said, though, I'm realistic that unless the Senate is going to change its filibuster rules, there's no way we're going to get an assault weapons ban based on the current math. So let's focus on what we can achieve. I think Chris's approach is the right one.
The other way to do that is, of course, to elect more Democratic senators. You would have the opportunity potentially in Pennsylvania with Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. I want to ask you about the last couple of weeks for him, right? He had a stroke right before winning the Democratic nomination last month. He now acknowledges this wasn't the first time he felt symptoms of the heart condition that may have caused this, and he didn't follow up with his doctors or take the medication prescribed to him back in 2017. I wonder how concerned you are about, A, the medical part of this, but B, the transparency transparency part of it, which could be a concern for Pennsylvania voters who wonder perhaps what is the full story here with his medical condition.
Well, first, I'm glad that John is doing well. He has my full support. This is really, I think, one of, if not the most important Senate races in the country this year, and he absolutely has to win. As you were pointing out, if we had 52 Democratic senators, or even 51 instead of 50, the equation on getting a gun bill passed would be quite different. Now, I would point out that on Friday afternoon, John's doctors released a statement that put my mind at ease. It sounds like he will make a full recovery, provided he follows doctor's orders. Mm-hmm. As someone myself who is maybe not the best at going to the doctor when I should, I can understand the tendency to maybe not totally follow doctor's orders, but obviously he's in a situation in which he very much needs to do that. But I do fully expect he'll make a full recovery, just based on what the doctor has now released last Friday afternoon.
Yeah, we should do like a joint PSA here for men. Go to the doctor and then listen to what they tell you. Congressman Brendan Boyle, we got to leave it there. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thank you.